Brash Sports podcast brought to you by Double Insulated Metal Tumblers, because everyone needs ice for 72 hours. What is up? I am Josh. I'm joined with my best friend Brandon, and we've got a lot to get into for our 50th episode. We were going to make it spectacular, but then we decided, hey, you know what? Let's just have a normal episode, where we kind of mail it in, kind of have some fun with it. I think all of our listeners will appreciate that. How you doing, Brandon? Are you feeling okay?
Yeah, that's not really the story. The reason we're not having a special episode 50, which would normally be our Equinox extravaganza. So it's a bummer that
Oh,
everything all
fuck.
happened like this, but
I totally forgot about
unforeseen
that.
circumstances. I got the old stinky COVID. That's right.
No!
I know. Never thought it would happen to me. But yeah, buddy, it's been a bummer of a week. And you were able to do the pick'em pandemonium by yourself this past weekend. Thank you for doing that, because I know that wasn't easy to be able to string that one along
It was
solo,
kind of
but
fun.
it
I'm
looked
not too
good.
mad about it.
It
It was kind of fun.
came out good, and I mean, I won't put you in that spot often. Hopefully, that's the only time. But yeah, that was just due to me simply losing my voice. But I was not going to be able to not record an episode. Come hell or high water, we're still going to get our episodes out there, but it's just not going to be the Equinox extravaganza episode 50 that we were hoping for. But who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Sometimes it happens, but we're still here, and we're going to
Hey,
fly through this thing today.
next year, our Equinox extravaganza is going to blow people's tits off. So,
There you go. There you
and
go.
and just a quick side note, we should really be thankful that COVID is the worst thing you caught at a Pantera concert, because it really could be a
Absolutely.
lot worse.
I mean, there's no guarantee that's where I got it, but come on.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
It's
Let's be
99%
real.
chance. That's where I contracted this nasty thing. But anyway,
Yeah.
let's get to today's starting lineup. Of course, we're going to bust open the Brash Sports page. The NFL Week 2 run through, we are not going to do. We're going to get into a little overreactions, is what I call them, regarding our 2-0 and 0-2 teams. We're going to hit up our power rankings, of course, and we're going to hit on the matchup and predictions for Thursday Night Football. And of course, we will see things off with the Brash official world rankings, which today will be the top 5 cereals. Top 5 cereals. We had to do a simple one because, again, we're flying through this thing. We had to make it simple. I was able to whip this list together in 10 seconds. So
Really, mine, it took me a little while longer to do mine because there are so many good cereals, and you really forget about it when you're in the mix trying to pick them and
yeah,
trying to rank them. So
top
not as
5.
easy.
Top 5. I was pretty good at coming up with my top
Oh
5.
man,
But yeah,
I
I mean,
struggled a little bit.
there would be 100 honorable mentions if we had to go through every single one. But
That's very true.
I just got I honestly I got, of course, my top 5 and 4 honorables, but we'll get to that when that time comes. Let's go ahead and bust open that Brash Sports page, starting with the news that was just breaking today. We are recording on a Wednesday. This will be released on Thursday, but breaking today, actually within the last few hours, the Rams are officially sending running back Cam Akers to the Minnesota Vikings for a swap of the 2026 draft picks, which is interesting. That I did not see coming. I knew Cam Akers would be on his way out, but surprised to see him going to the Vikings.
Yeah,
I guess
me too.
they feel it's necessary because they're off to a pretty slow start, so they need some offensive firepower, I suppose.
They are 0-2, and yeah, their running game is struggling with just Madison. So it makes sense. Makes perfect sense. There were a few teams that I had thought about him going to, but the Vikings weren't really on my radar, and they really should have been. So yeah, very cool news. This is breaking to me. Like, we logged in and got this started up. I was like, holy shit, really? So I don't have time to react. I don't have any notes put together. I'm not going to be very thorough on this, but very cool news. Very cool news. Good for the Vikings. Make something happen.
No 10-minute breakdown on this
no
story?
10-minute breakdown. You know what? I'll record one separately. We can edit it in.
Fair enough.
And then, because everyone wants to know my reaction to this Cam Akers trade.
In that case, let's get to our second headline, which is more running back news with Cleveland running back Nick Chubb, who has officially been ruled out for the remainder of the season after suffering that brutal knee injury on Monday Night Football in Pittsburgh. My goodness, I did not see the replay. They didn't show
Oh,
it on TV. I'm sure you could look it up. I had no interest in looking at it.
no, it's not fun to watch.
Browns have gone ahead, re-signed Kareem Hunt. Surprise, surprise. And he will assist Jerome Ford in the backfield. I'm sure that will just be a combo situation back there between the two of them. I don't think we'll see one lead back for the
Hey,
remainder of the
Ford
year.
looked really good the other night. I don't know. I think
Yeah,
Ford will be the lead guy. So if
yeah,
you're
I'm pulling
on your
for him.
fantasy rosters, I would prioritize Ford over Hunt, but I'm also really bad at fantasy football, so don't listen to me too much here.
Third story, we have this one. This was an interesting one. You brought this to light. Knew nothing about this, but the death of a Patriots fan involved in a fight during Sunday night's game at Gillette Stadium may not have been a result of a traumatic injury, but rather from a medical issue, an official said Wednesday. 53-year-old Dale Mooney fell unconscious after being punched by a Dolphins fan in the fourth quarter and could not be revived. So, according to Norfolk District Attorney's Office, that's the official, by the way. Um, it's a wild coincidence that he happened to die at the exact moment he was knocked out by a strike to the head. I mean, talk about just crazy coincidence. No arrests have been made, and that shithead Dolphins fan is the luckiest man on planet Earth.
Yeah, absolutely. But this does bring to light a whole new way of getting out of murder because, yeah, if you get a really good legal team behind you, you can say, hey, look, he just dropped dead
Dude,
1 second before the punch landed. You can do that now.
he was gonna die anyway. I just happened to punch him
Yeah.
right at the time when nature
Yeah.
was taking its course.
Sorry for punching an already dead guy, but
Yeah.
sometimes it happens that way.
I swear, before I made contact, that fool was dead.
He was dead for sure. Yeah, this was a wild story. I didn't see this until earlier today when I was kind of cruising through. And yeah, it was just bizarre. I couldn't figure out what the hell was going on. But yeah, seems like, and you and I touched on this a tad bit earlier, there have just been so many fights so far this season. And I think it's just kind of trending up overall over the last few years. And you could kind of blame it on COVID before because it's like people been trapped in their house for a year or two. They don't know how to go back and back into society and act like a civil human being. But now that's done for, right? We're so far past COVID as you have it that we're done with the lockdowns, done with everything. People should know how to fucking behave out in the real world, and we just can't. I swear to God, it's like every Sunday you just see fight after fight after fight in these stadiums.
Yeah.
Guys,
It's an
can't just get along. You're there to watch a football game. What a stupid thing to fight over. It's
it's a
crazy.
shame. It's a shame because a lot of children go to these games. I mean, it's a
Yeah,
goddamn sporting event.
right.
But eventually, I mean, it's hard because it's an NFL, it's America, but eventually they might have to do something about the alcohol sales of these games
No,
or the tailgating. I mean, it sucks. I don't want it. I just wish adults would be more responsible and fucking normal. What's wrong with you?
I know. I
Getting in a fight because somebody roots for the other fucking team? Grow the fuck up.
Yeah, I really hope these assholes don't fucking ruin it for us because there's nothing better than getting
Yeah.
wasted at a game.
Yes. Thank you.
Tailgating is the best, but yeah, if you guys are gonna ruin it for everyone, like that should be a public lynching for whoever the fuck ruins it for all of us. But apparently this guy probably was gonna ruin it for all of us, and they did a little sweepy sweep under the rug,
Oh yeah. It was a
just so they
quick
don't
one.
have to answer for it. But what a weird story.
Let's go ahead and get back to some more running back news. The New York Giants star running back, Saquon Barkley, he's officially been ruled out. This is also, Josh, been breaking in the last few hours for
I knew it was
Thursday's
coming though.
game. Yeah. I mean, I would have been shocked if they had actually thrown him out there for this one. They are, of course, set to go to San Francisco and take on the Niners. You said that they're staying out in the West Coast the whole entire time, so they
They are
never even
they
came back
they
home.
are still out there.
Yeah, yeah. And of course, he suffered that ankle injury during the Giants' 31-28 comeback victory over the Cardinals in Arizona on Sunday. So, big win for the Giants, big comeback win, dramatic win, but a big loss at the same time. And hopefully, they initially expected him to miss, I believe, 3 weeks, but the coaches sound a little different. They're talking about him being a quick healer, and it's like, how about you just take it week by week, guys? Let's not put any more pressure on him. I mean, when he's healed, and then you can get him back out there.
Well, my gut feeling. So I watched this happen live, and my first thought was, oh, he's done for the year because it looked really bad. But then he didn't need the stretcher. He was able to kind of limp off the field, and all these reports of, well, 3 games is what I was initially hearing. And then Dable said, no, he might be ready to go for Thursday, which I thought, no fucking way. There's no way I was watching the same thing he was. I think there's a little gamesmanship going on. Brian Dable just kind of saying, hey, we're not going to rule him out right away to give the 49ers extra time to game plan against us without
Yeah.
him. You know what I mean? I think there's a little bit of that going on. And, I think we have Seattle after. Like, we don't want to give them any reason to look at tape of, Matt Breida instead of Saquon Barkley. So I think there's a little bit of gamesmanship going on. I would be shocked if he doesn't miss the next 2 games, because it did look like a bad ankle injury. Luckily, the X-rays turned up negative, so it's just a sprain, but still looked pretty bad. And we got to take care of this guy, because if you rush him out too early and he gets really injured, we're fucked. Like, we are fucked without him. So let's not do anything crazy. But I think there is some gamesmanship with Brian Double kind of teasing him coming back earlier. I think that's just to fuck with the other team.
Yeah. Well, we'll see if it has any advantage come Thursday night in
Yeah,
San
no,
Francisco.
it's gonna make all the difference in the world. Yeah.
The Chicago Bears defensive coordinator, Alan Williams, he officially resigned Wednesday to, quote, take care of his health and his family. It's adorable. But in all reality, everybody knows that's complete bullshit. He resigned because the Bears are terrible, and he'd rather resign now than get fired later.
Oh man, dude, these stories are pretty great.
You like that?
Um, I really like how you phrase that one. Yeah, this is again news to me. I had no idea this was happening, but yeah, of course, he resigned. Yeah, someone
Yeah. If
asked
they
him
were
to.
2-0 and one of the top scoring teams in the league, or one of the best defenses out of
Yeah,
2 weeks, he would resign because he wanted to take care of his family. Yeah, fuck off.
yeah, dude,
Don't
we
give us
know
that
what's going on.
shit.
Don't give Alan Williams. Don't give us
Yeah.
that
A
shit.
Dub, listen, A
Yeah.
Dub. We're not buying your bullshit, all right?
Well, it's clear that the Bears are just fucking embarrassed with how their season has gone this far. So I'm sure someone asked him to resign instead of having to have it public. Like, oh yeah, they had to fire their defensive coordinator already this year. So just what a shitty franchise. What a piece of shit team. Bears, you're on my list, man.
We're gonna touch on them, I'm sure, a little bit more here in our next
Yeah,
segment, because
yeah.
we're gonna
I'll
move right
save my
along.
thoughts.
No run through this week. If you didn't see or didn't know what happened in the previous week, first of all, why are you listening to this podcast if you're not
Right.
a football fan? And secondly, get off your lazy ass and look it up. You ever heard of the fucking internet? Look up the scores, look up the highlights. What is this?
Yeah.
Jesus, it's all out there. So we
Yeah,
don't
you're
need to tell you what the scores were, what the player stats were. Look it up.
yeah,
All right.
just Google it, you guys.
Let's do our overreactions for the 2-0 and 0-2 teams. We'll start off with your teams that have started off 2-0. We got some usual suspects, some surprises. 2-0, we have the Miami Dolphins, the Baltimore Ravens, Dallas Cowboys, Philadelphia Eagles, Washington Commanders. That's right. The
Wow.
New Orleans Saints, Atlanta Falcons, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 3 teams from the NFC South. That's right. And the San Francisco 49ers. So I noticed that these were not put in any particular order, Josh. They were just kind of whipped up, but that's fine
Well, they were
because
done. It was done by by division.
Oh, okay.
So
All right. Fair enough.
yeah,
Um, so yeah, I mean, out of those 2-0 teams, what were there? We have 9 remaining undefeated.
yeah.
And who would you suspect would be the last one of those teams to lose a game this season? I think we're going
Well,
to be
you
on the
would,
same page with this one.
yeah, you would think that I would have looked at the schedule as I whip this up
Oh, I
and
didn't have to look at the schedule. In
put this
fact,
question
I
out
had
there.
this in the back of my head going into the season well, actually, 2 of these teams that are 2-0, I thought would be the last ones to lose a game, even though one team I was very low on going into the year.
Yeah. Now my gut is the 49ers.
Yeah.
One, because they're probably getting a win on Thursday, which means they get an extra, a free week, right? A lot of these teams could lose this weekend and already be off the list. And I do think they're still the best team in football. So I would go 49ers, Dolphins, probably Cowboys. Cowboys look really tough to beat right now.
Yeah, come on.
Um,
September.
yeah, it's true. It is September. Yeah, yeah.
Cowboys
No,
love September.
don't
Oof.
you worry. I
They are
am not getting
September Super Bowl champions every year.
I am not getting ahead of myself on them Cowboys. But yeah, the 49ers, I feel like will be the last team to remain
I
undefeated.
would
They
put
look
my money
so
it's going to be the 49ers. My next would be the Eagles.
okay.
Those I'd go Niners, Eagles, Dolphins, and then Ravens. All right. And which one of these 2-0 teams is the biggest surprise? Now, I'd like to say it's the Washington Commanders, but
You're not surprised at all.
well, not necessarily. I mean, 2-0 again. Last time we were 2-0 was 2011. So, and we have still a rookie quarterback. But when you're in this list with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, it's got to be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I mean, if
Yeah,
somebody showed me this list going into the season, said one of these teams won't be 2-0, hands down, I would have picked the Bucks. So,
for
yeah,
sure.
give me the Bucks or the Falcons. I mean, I didn't see either of those 2 teams being 2-0 after 2 weeks. So that would be my biggest prize. I'm sticking with the Bucks.
Yeah, I think it's the Bucks as well. And it's because the biggest reason is because they went on the road into Minnesota and beat the Vikings week 1. I didn't see that coming. I know you didn't see that coming, right? The Redskins we thought would be 1-0. And it's not the craziest thing in the world to go into Denver and beat those idiots. They can't figure their shit out. So, yes, they're a surprising 2-0 team, but if you think about who they've beaten,
Yeah,
not as surprising. Um,
that's what I'm
yeah,
saying. They
yeah, the
beat the
Falcons,
Broncos and the Cardinals. They have a combined record of 0-4. So I'm not patting myself on the back just yet.
fair enough. But yeah, the Falcons are such a weird team to me. I had no idea how to gauge them this season. So yeah, they're a little bit of a surprise, but the Bucks for sure. They're the number one head scratcher this year so far.
Now, in the last 5 years, 29 of the 40 teams that started 2-0 went on to make the postseason, which is around 73%. Last year, all 6 2-0 teams went on to make the playoffs. Josh, which 2-0 team has the best shot of winning the Super Bowl? I think we
Winning,
know where we're going with this one.
winning the Super Bowl. See, I think the Miami Dolphins have the best shot of winning the Super Bowl today.
Okay.
I'm on Team Tua staying healthy right now. The entire time I've been doubting them or using them to say like I don't know if they're going to win the division, whatever, was because I don't know if Tua is going to stay healthy or not. Dude, I can't keep living like that, right? So you would think it'd be the 49ers. I do think they're the best roster, but I trust Tua more than I trust Brock Purdy at this point to make a deep run. So I'm going to go with the Dolphins.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. Brock Purdy has proven to me he's a legit franchise quarterback. There's no denying it. It's for real. He's here to stay, and I think they have more offensive weapons, and they have a much better defense than the Dolphins. So
Yeah,
I'm sticking with the 49ers as having the best shot to win the Super Bowl. Now, again, just like the Dolphins or any of these teams for that matter, I mean, one significant injury could change everything. Not
right.
hoping for that for anybody. I want everybody to stay nice and healthy. Um, but we know how this sport goes. I mean, you lose one key piece and the whole system could go haywire if you change one little thing.
Very true.
So that's why I'm sticking with the 49ers as it is right now because they appear to be and I don't know, Cowboys again, September, they are the September Super Bowl champs year after year. The thing is, I know something about these Cowboys, and when by the time December rolls around, things will just start falling apart. It's a guarantee. You
Yeah.
heard it here first, even though you didn't, because you hear it from Stephen A. Smith every fucking day on First Take, which, by the
Oh,
way,
he's.
that bit's getting so fucking overdone. I mean, he's really they gotta stop with that because
I
it was
stopped
it was
listening to him
funny. I know.
a
I
long
don't
time ago.
listen to it as much as I used to, but they show the highlights on the website all the time. So and they always say, Stephen A. Gets heated about the Cowboys. It's like, I mean, what are they doing at this point? Like, are they just waiting for the Cowboys to eventually win the Super Bowl so, they could, throw a pie in his face? I mean, where's the bit
I don't
going?
know. What needs to happen is he needs to not have a 2-hour show and have to kill so much fucking time. If he
That's
had
what
a
it is.
30-minute show, I'm sure it would be very entertaining because he's not a stupid guy. I don't usually hate his takes, but when he has 2 hours to kill, he gets really obnoxious because he stretches everything out. Anyway, let's enough Stephen A talk.
We'll save the Stephen A. talk for next episode for our 10 cents on Stephen A.
Yeah.
Let's move to the 0-2 teams. We got the New England Pats, the Cincinnati Bengals, who are 0-2 for the second consecutive season, the Houston Texans, LA Chargers, who I believe also started off 0-2 last year. Am I right? Maybe not.
Yeah.
The Denver Broncos, the Minnesota Vikings, the Chicago Bears, and the Arizona Cardinals. Which one of these teams, Josh, will be the last team to get a win?
The worst team in the NFL today, the Chicago Bears. They
All
are so
right.
fucking bad. I'm finally on board.
Yep.
I was
They're
holding
terrible.
on strong. Nope,
They're so
they're
bad.
terrible. They
They
are
are
so
so
bad.
bad. The Cardinals would beat the piss out of them.
Yeah, the
Give
Cardinals
me
would
the
beat the shit out of the
Bears
Bears.
to probably uh, not win a game this year. They're getting that number one draft pick. So,
Yeah, they'll move off
watch
fields,
out.
dude. They are
It,
moving off fields. I watched like someone break down film of the Bears. Uh, so he Justin Fields holds onto the ball for so long, and they stop the film, and they're like, "Open receiver, open receiver, open receiver," and he's just standing there and takes a sack after 5 seconds, and it's just unbelievable. You're like, how are you still starting in this league? I
yeah.
was so wrong about them, so wrong about Justin Fields. I really thought they'd get it together for him. They've done a good job putting weapons around him, rebuilding that O line to actually give him a little bit of time. Last year, he was just running for his life. This year, he has time in the pocket. He's just not delivering the ball and taking sacks and making bad plays. They are so bad. He is so bad. Yeah, they're going to be the number one overall pick, and they're going to pick a quarterback and get rid of Justin Fields. It's wild how wrong I was about this team.
Yeah, they should try. They should see if New York Jets be open for a trade for Fields. That'd be an
Oh,
interesting move right there.
that
Just
would be.
throwing that out there, New York.
Yeah.
Biggest surprise 0-2 team. I mean, if
So I mean, I think it's
you
the
know where I
Bengals.
am. Yeah,
Yeah, I
I'm
think
with
it's the
the
Bengals.
Bengals.
But looking back, it's like fuck. Burrow had this calf injury that's been lingering. He had it in camp, right? So coming in the year, I don't think we really gave it any
Yeah,
credibility to,
I think the
really
team
being a detriment
downplayed
to
it.
his play.
They downplayed
Yeah,
it.
they downplayed it or something, but dude, he's hurting. He does not look like the same guy. So something's off there, but it's still a surprise, right? I think if even if we had looked back and said, dude, take that calf injury seriously, be like, dude, it's still Joe motherfucking Burrow. So yeah, that one's surprising. The Chargers, of course, I'm high on them every year, and they fucking suck. So they're kind of surprising. It's either Eberflus, the Bears coach, or Brandon Staley. Though that'll be one of the two first coaches fired this year.
I think
Brandon
it
Staley has got to go.
could be as soon as the next week. We could see
Yeah.
one of
No,
those two guys, if not both of them, go. So get ready.
Chargers, and it's Chargers Vikings this weekend. So two 0-2 teams that people
Yeah.
had playoff expectations for. And one of
Mm-hmm.
these teams is going to be eliminated from the playoffs. Because like I think only one team ever has come back from 0-3 to make the playoffs. So one of these teams is going to be eliminated this weekend. And if it's the Chargers, Brandon Staley's going to get fired. He is awful. How do you, he's a defensive head coach, and their defense is one of the worst in the NFL. It's inexcusable. With all, I think they also are one of the highest paid defenses. Like all their players, if you add up all their salaries, they're one of the most expensive defenses. He's a defensive head coach. They have one of the worst defenses in the NFL, and they've been bad for years. It's crazy. He needs to be fired.
Yeah, I'd be a bit frustrated if I were an LA Chargers fan. That's for
Oh,
sure.
so frustrated.
In the last 5 years, Josh, only 3 of the 39 teams that started 0-2, roughly 8%, went on to make the playoffs. Which one of these 0-2 teams has the best shot of making the playoffs this year? You know where I'm going with it.
Yeah.
Same answer.
I mean, Burrow might be out this week, dude.
Yeah, even so, I still think they could go 0-3. I still think the Bengals could come back and make the
only
playoffs.
happened once, dude.
I don't care.
Know. That makes me nervous, man. That makes me real nervous. I would say, I think probably the Vikings
because of the division. Yeah.
Yeah, because of the division, it's a little weaker. The Lions don't look as good as I thought they would. The Packers right now are 1-1. The Lions are 1-1. The Bears obviously are just irrelevant because they're awful. So the Vikings would have an easier time catching up with the rest of the teams. So I'll go with them.
I mean, a lot of people had the AFC North where the Bengals lay, being a difficult division, but looks like
I did.
It's the Ravens to lose at this point, and can Lamar stay healthy for an entire season is the real question there, because if Burrow can get healthy again and come back, I think they could come back and still win that division, believe it or not, and still sneak into the playoffs. So there you have it. Let's go ahead and get into these are actually our week 3 power rankings, remember, because we are going into week 3. Last week was week 2. But doesn't fucking matter. Let's start off with our number 5. Last week, just to recap real quick, I had number 1 Cowboys, number 2 Niners, number 3 Dolphins, number 4 Rams. That's right. And number 5 Jaguars. Minor adjustments to mine, but of course they needed to be made, because again, I'm going on a week-to-week basis here. I'm only going off of what we've seen this season and nothing previous. That's it. So number 5, Josh, or you want to do your recap, or do you not have it in front of you?
I don't have it in front of me, but I'm pretty sure my recap: number 1 49ers, number 2 Dolphins, number 3 Chiefs, number 4 Eagles, number 5 Cowboys.
Okay.
99% sure that's what it was.
That sounds about right. Who you guys are number 5 going into week 3?
I've got the Eagles. They slid back a little bit. I still think that their roster and their quarterback, it's good enough to crack the top 5. Again, the way I do it, it's who can beat who. I think the Eagles are better than the other 27 teams that are not going to be on my list. So I think on a neutral field, the Eagles could beat everyone except for the next 4 teams I'm going to name. So they're in my number 5 spot.
All right. Oh my God. We might have some similarities here. Maybe not. Number 5, I had the Jaguars last week. They have slipped out. And the Eagles have made their way in. Eagles at number 5 of my week 3 power rankings. Number 4, Josh.
Right on. All right. Number 4, another little slip down the list.
Slipperoo.
It's the Kansas City Chiefs. Who look like they need a wide receiver bad. Their defense, though, man, They are, to me, the most underrated defense in the NFL. They looked awesome. Saw a lot of that game on Sunday against the Jaguars, who are a very good offense. I think the Chiefs defense will be a very sleepy defense no one really gives credit for because everyone thinks Mahomes, Kelsey,
Mhm.
blah, blah, blah. No, that defense is legit. But they do need a dependable wide receiver that they can go to when Travis Kelsey has 7 guys covering him, because that's what defense is starting to do. Just fucking double up Kelsey, see if the wide receivers can get open. And if the ball hits him in the hands, there's a 50% chance it's going to drop anyway. So I think they need a wide receiver, but I still like them to beat the Eagles and everyone else. So Chiefs in the number 4 spot.
You're not going to believe this, but I have the Ravens at my number 4 spot.
No, I
The
do believe that. They're
Baltimore
very good.
Ravens.
They were probably number 6 on my list.
And I just think right now they're a well-rounded team.
Totally.
And that's it. I mean, kind of going with what you're saying, everyone below them, I do believe that they could beat them. And
Yeah,
so, but I'm also, of course, going off of the first 2 weeks and what I've seen. They've convinced me enough. They deserve to be at my number 4 spot going into week 3. So give me the Ravens at number 4.
absolutely. I like that. Ravens are very good. My number 3 team, moving on up, is the Dallas Cowboys. I thought that, the game 1 against the Giants, it was kind of wonky. They're in a sloppy field and got all the momentum right out of the gate and kind of never let up. So going into week 2 is really going to, put my binoculars on and really take a close look at them. And yeah, they are that good. This defense is relentless. The pass rush is stupid. Now they've faced 2 mediocre offensive lines, to be nice, so far. So I think when they start facing good O lines that can actually figure out how to slow down Micah Parsons, they're going to have some more struggles. But the Cowboys, man, you can't deny how that they have been impressive over the first couple weeks. I think they beat the Chiefs. I think they beat the Eagles and everyone. So they're in my 3 spot.
Well, I'm just going to go ahead and get to the point here. My top 3 is exactly the same. I got the Dolphins at number 3, the Niners at number 2, and the Cowboys still sitting pretty at number 1 until the Cowboys start falling apart around late November, early December. If they keep playing like this, they're probably going to remain there until the whole Humpty Dumpty starts falling apart. So Dolphins 3, Niners 2, Humpty Dumpty Cowboys number 1.
Yeah, my 1 and 2 are still the same. Number 2, Dolphins. They are so explosive. They are the most fun team to watch in the NFL right now. They are must-see TV when they are on the field. Mike McDaniels does stuff on the offense that just makes me scratch my head, like thinking, why are no other teams doing this? They're so fast. Every one of their playmakers can run a 4.340. Like, they're just awesome to watch. So they can beat a lot of teams. And then the 49ers are just the most well-rounded team. I really like them. That roster is stupid. The weapons are great. Brock Purdy is looking good, so there's no reason not to have them at number 1.
Look at us. We have 4 out of the same 5 teams total in our top
Yes.
5, and our top 3, same teams, just slightly different order. So we'll see how much similar this gets, Josh, as we move on. I'm thinking my formula might be working a little bit. So we shall see how much that proves to be true. But let's go ahead and get to the Thursday night football matchup coming up shortly. I know you're going to be sweating this one as the New York Football Giants head to San Francisco to take on your number 1 seed San Francisco 49ers. Just a quick run through of the rankings. Again, we've only had 2 weeks of football, so you can't read into this too much, but hey, this is what we do here at Brash Sports, and I'm going to do it for every Thursday night football game. For the yards per game, we have the New York Giants at 305, currently ranked 22nd in the NFL. 49ers at 378, which is ranked at 7th. For points per game, the on offense, the New York Giants are at 15 and a half, ranking 22nd, and the San Francisco 49ers at 30 points per game, which is tied for 3rd. On the defensive side, yards against, Giants are at 322 yards per game, ranked 15th in the NFL, and the 49ers are at 312 and a half, which is ranked at 12th. Pretty close there, very similar. And the points allowed per game, Giants, again, had that devastating week 1 loss, which is why they're sitting at 32nd spot for 34 points allowed per game. And the 49ers, as we know, stout defense, 15 points allowed per game, which is tied for third. So, Giants in their last 10 away games overall, they're 4-6. Niners in their last 10 home games are 9-1. And this will, of course, be the 49ers 2023 home opener. Oh, did I mention the Giants will be without Saquon Barkley? Josh, you're picking the Giants, I hear. Is that right?
Well, I am going to sprinkle a little cash on that Giants money line.
Uh-huh. I'd put
That
some
is a
emotional
fact.
hedge all over this if I were you.
Yeah, I am sprinkling a little, but no, in my pick'ems, I picked the 49ers. In my heart, I want to pick the Giants, but there's just no rational way I can talk myself into it. It's just a terrible spot, right? I don't think it says that too much about the Giants if we go in here and get our asses kicked. We haven't even been home since Sunday. Uh, it's just a terrible matchup for us. We're without our best offensive player, so yeah, man, just a really tough night. I could see us getting beat by like 17 to 20 points. It'll be a long night. But I think when teams try and out physical us and it's not a sloppy shit show and the ball's just not bouncing our way, like we actually play pretty well. I think that's one of the things that Wink Martindale and Brian Dable really try and focus on is just like, hey, go out there and don't don't let other teams punch you in the mouth. Do the punching, right? Be
Mhm.
physical. Get in their face. So I think a lot of teams like San Francisco will just go in and bulldoze. I don't think that's going to be the issue for us. But at a certain point, there's only so far that can get you until the talent of the guys on the other side of the field really just take over and they are better than us on every single level. You could maybe make a case that Daniel Jones and Brock Purdy are level in terms of like talent and all that stuff. But beyond that, the Niners have us covered on every single level of the field. So, fuck, what do you do, man? Like, they're just that good. It's just a tough spot. So, yeah, it's not going to be fun when our first 6 quarters we got outscored 60 to nothing. We barely snuck by the Cardinals, which a lot of people believe is the worst team in the NFL. And now we're going to have to go get our asses kicked by San Francisco. Rough start to the season for the Giants.
It's a tough start. This would, on the other hand, if they are able to somehow pull this win out of
Oh,
their ass, it would skyrocket them. I mean, they would be hell to deal with for anybody that gets them the following week and the week after that. They would have all the confidence and momentum in the world if they're able to steal a win in San Francisco. But I just, for the life of me, couldn't see them getting a win on a short week without their all-star running back in San Francisco. They've been staying in the West Coast this entire time since their trip to Arizona,
yeah.
and it was such a dramatic and just what's the word I'm looking for? Just overwhelming victory for them. They had to give it
Yeah.
their all in Arizona to come back. I mean, one of their biggest comebacks in franchise history,
Yeah.
I believe, if not their biggest.
No,
Um,
you're after a win like that, you are physically and
yeah,
emotionally
it's
spent.
yes, an exhausting victory. That's
It
what I
was an
was.
exhausting victory. Absolutely.
Now,
Yeah.
do you have a final score, Josh? I just whipped one up real quick.
My gut would be something like 31 to 17.
I picked a really weird score. I thought for a second you might say the same thing as me. I picked 31 to 15.
Oh,
15.
yeah.
15.
Five
Weird
field,
shit's got to happen for 15 to happen.
five field goals or a touchdown with a 2-point conversion. I don't know.
Yeah, like
But
they attempt a 2-point conversion, they don't get it, and then
yeah, I
yeah,
don't know.
it's something
Who
like that.
knows? But here's the thing. The only if I'm Wink Martindale in that defense, and obviously I'm going to clear this with coach first, but I'm telling all my guys like, hey, jump every route, right? Like we're going to try and block every kick, every punt. Like
Yeah.
don't play anything safe. just fucking go for it and try and force turnovers, because that's the only way we can win, is by forcing weird turnovers, getting good field position, and just kind of getting sneaky points by getting the ball away from them. Because if we just try and line up against them and have them go up and down the field and try and beat them that way, it's not going to happen. So, hey, throw it all out there, jump every route, try and block every kick, because at the end of the day, they're going to beat us if we try and beat them the other way. So if they beat us 60-0, or if they beat us 31-17, a loss is a loss, right? So fucking just go out there and try and sneak one out. And at the end, that might just burn you, right? Ayuk and Debo Samuel might have several 80-yard touchdowns because we're trying to get aggressive and jump routes. Who knows? But that's the only way we're going to beat them. So that's, if I were coaching them, that's what I would say.
Yeah, I think they have to take a page out of the I want to say it was like 2008, 2009. Maybe I'm going back a little too far, but when the Dolphins busted out that Wildcat offense
Yes,
against the
dude.
Patriots,
Yeah.
shocked the world. Dolphins didn't know what the fuck hit them. Nobody, or the Patriots didn't know what the fuck hit them. Nobody in the right mind had the Dolphins winning that game, and they were able to just cruise through and get the victory. If they can bust something like that out of their rabbit out of their hat,
wow,
and you know, that might just do it. But
you might be
it's,
onto
again,
something.
it's a short turnaround though. It's a little different. I mean, you only
True.
get a couple days to prepare. But
maybe
who knows?
maybe they already knew that they'd have to do something like this, and it's been in the works. I don't know.
Yeah.
You could run a Wildcat offense with Daniel Jones. He's one of the best rushing quarterbacks
Dude,
in the
if they
league.
do that, I am gonna shit.
Now they run it sometimes like direct snap to Saquon, but Saquon's not playing, so that doesn't help you too much. I don't know if Matt Breida gets the same reps against, with the Wildcat, but dude, you might be onto something. If we bust the Wildcat out, all bets are off. All bets are off.
Well, we shall see. It'll be here soon. It's coming up quick, but hey, we've got to wrap this thing up. We got to get to the Brash official world rankings. All right, and with the Brash official world rankings today, we are going to break down everybody's, not just ours, but your top 5 cereals of all time. So let's go ahead, get to our number 5, Josh. Do you want me to kick things off? Do you want to get things kicked off here?
I can get things going. Now, you seem to think that we're going to have a lot of similarities. I think we're going to be all over the map. Cereal is one of those things.
There's a lot of cereals. Yeah.
There's just so many. I don't know the last time you walked down the cereal aisle, but my God, it's crazy. And like, there's my top 5 could be out there right now that I've never even tried, because they're doing shit like Oreo cereal now.
You're right.
Like, Oreo cereal is probably amazing, but I'm a glutton, but I'm not that gluttonous. But no, my number 5 spot is going to be my favorite chocolate cereal on this list, and I'm going with Cocoa Krispies. It's my favorite. It's my favorite chocolate cereal. I love Rice Krispies, but I prefer the Cocoa Krispies. They're great. They kind of clump up. That snap, crackle, pop. Yep. Always get your morning off right. So Cocoa Krispies are my number 5 in my Brash official world rankings of cereals.
Cocoa Krispies were my first honorable mention. I can say that now. They were my favorite childhood cereal by far, hands down. The one with the monkey on the box. The one with the monkey.
It was the monkey. Yes, it was the monkey. Absolutely.
That was the best. But top 5 now, just a little different because I'm just, as you get older, palates change, and I'm just going based off what I purchase the most as an adult. So number 5 on my list, maybe this will catch you off guard. Number 5 is Golden Grams. Still a big Golden Grams fan, dude. I haven't lost my taste for that at all. Now, maybe after COVID, it'll start tasting like shit. Hopefully it doesn't affect my taste buds that much, but now I get to go buy some Golden Grams tomorrow to make sure that's not the case. But I could just sit and eat them straight out of the box without any milk. I love me some Golden Grams. So give me Golden Grams at number 5.
Have you ever had like a Rice Krispie treat, but with Golden Grams instead of like Rice Krispies?
Oh yeah, I remember those.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
the
that's
breakfast bars is what they called them, right?
yeah, dude. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. My mom used to make them, and they were fucking great because that was my favorite cereal growing up. I have kind of lost my taste for it. It is in my honorable mentions, but that's a great
Okay.
pick. In my number 4 spot, I've got one that I know a lot of people regard as their favorite, the best cereal ever. I absolutely love it. It's Cinnamon Toast Crunch. It's
Oh,
so goddamn delicious. I've never been disappointed with it. It is a little sweet. I'm getting older. I can say that. It's getting a little sweet for my taste, but that's why it's in the 4 spot, right? I think a few years back, I would have said it's number 1. It would have been up there at a different time in my life, but Cinnamon Toast Crunch, man, you cannot go wrong. It's so goddamn delicious.
no spoilers here.
Okay, okay, okay.
There is a mention of CTC in my list. Number 4, I went with an OG. Some might find to be the most boring, one of the most boring of cereals, but my God, dude, I fucking love these things. And it seems the older I get, becoming an old man,
I think I know what it is.
I love me some cornflakes, man. I'm a cornflake fanatic. And they are the original fucking cereal. That is Kellogg's cornflakes started everything. So give me cornflakes, boring, but fucking tried and true at number 4. And it's okay to sprinkle a little sugar on top of them. Okay. It's not going to kill you,
I was
but
gonna
they're,
say Frosted Flakes is probably the more popular pick there, but
yeah, no, that's an honorable mention. There you go. Spoiler alert. But yeah, cornflakes had to make my top 5. It just fell at 4.
yeah, dude, didn't they make cornflakes to try and get people to stop masturbating? Isn't that the story?
What?
Yeah, look it up. Look it
Never
up.
fucking heard that.
That's the story behind cornflakes, man. It was like, yeah, some
How is that supposed to make people stop masturbating? That doesn't make
because it
any
was like the
sense.
1940s. They didn't fucking know anything. People were stupid back then.
I saw this show called The Food That Built America, and they talked about cornflakes. Never once was that
Look it up.
mentioned.
Dr. Kellogg was like super religious and wanted to make. Yeah. Trust me. Look it up.
Okay, wow, that sounds like one hell of a conspiracy right there. But
I don't think it's a
we're not
conspiracy. I think
we're
it's
not
like
diving
fact.
into any serial conspiracy theories. All right, we
It's
are
not a
just
conspiracy. That's just factual.
okay. Well, I'll look that
Factual.
up later. Let's get to our number 3 spot, Josh.
My number 3 spot will not stop you from masturbating.
No, it won't.
I'll tell you that much. It is an all-time cereal. It is peanut butter Captain Crunch. It's
Jesus
just so
fucking
fucking
Christ.
good, so amazing. The milk afterwards, just delicious. I'm a peanut butter fool. I will eat peanut butter anything. So this is the best peanut butter cereal on the market, from what I can tell.
Okay.
Better than these Reese Puffs, peanut butter Captain Crunch.
All right. Yeah, you're gonna steal my thunder through the rest of this. I am predict, but yeah, number 3. Let's just speed through at this point. I got cinnamon toast crunch, so there
Okay,
you go. We already touched on how delicious cinnamon toast crunch
it's
is, and
amazing.
makes my
It's
number 3
amazing.
spot.
Number 2, I've got my favorite fruity cereal, and it is
Saw this
Fruity
coming.
Pebbles,
Saw
man.
that
Fruity
coming.
Pebbles are just fucking amazing. It's also my daughter's favorite cereal, so we always have it on hand. There's nothing better than a late night snack of Fruity Pebbles. It just always hits the spot. I can't get enough of it. It's Fruity Pebbles, number 2. Fucking lock it up.
I had a really hard time going back and forth between 1 and 2. Again, next week you ask me, it might be slightly different, but yeah, for the sake of this segment and me whipping this list up in literally 10 seconds, number 2, I have Honey Bunches of Oats at number 2.
Wow.
I love me some Honey Bunches of Oats, especially the ones with the sliced almond. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that's
those are
right.
very good.
Those are you got to get the big box. Now with the really low price of like $8 a box for cereal,
So
I
stupid.
really don't get cereal that much anymore because it's so fucking expensive. You got to only get the ones that are on sale. It used to
Yeah.
be like $2 for a box of cereal. Now it's
Yep.
like $6 to $8. Like the fuck. Does this give you magical powers? Does this make you stop masturbating? You just
It,
don't know.
it might. You
Yeah.
never know. I don't think they the science got shut down on it, but hey, man, I'm always open to get back into that. Form a hypothesis of my own, if you know
All
what I
right.
mean.
Let's get to our number 1 seeds. Did I lose you?
Can you hear me?
I can hear
It's
you just
super
fine. Yeah.
choppy right now.
Oh, sorry,
Okay.
bud.
Well, you took the wind out of my sails for my number one. It is Honey Bunches of Oats. That's the
Oh,
best fucking cereal ever, man. The variety of textures and flavors, it's just a fucking party in your mouth.
it is.
It's just the best, man. And you're right. It is probably the most overpriced cereal, but you know what? You pay for what you get and you buy the goddamn best. Honey Bunches of Oats. Not many people have that as their favorite cereal, but I could eat it every single day. And it doesn't feel like it's that unhealthy for you. I don't know why that is. It doesn't feel like you're eating a bowl of sugar. I'm sure the sugar content is
Tons of
almost as
sugar.
I'm sure it's loaded,
Oh,
but
yeah.
but it doesn't feel that way. It doesn't feel like you're eating a bowl of Fruity Pebbles and right after you need a fucking shot of insulin. Honey Bunches of Oats is my favorite, has been my favorite for a long time. No one can dethrone the champ. Honey Bunches of Oats, best cereal in the world. Put that shit down.
My number one has been my number one since before Honey Bunches of Oats was even a thought. And it is Peanut Butter Crunch. You took the wind out of my sails there a little bit. I
So
didn't
good.
think you would have it in your top five, to be honest with you. I'm
Oh,
a little
dude,
surprised.
it's one of my favorites. One of the reasons why I regale it so much, and God, this is going way off topic, but
I know what you're
my
going to
mom
say.
would never buy it for me as a kid,
Yeah.
and then when we would go on our family beach trips, it was always there. So it just all the memories I have of peanut butter crunch as a kid was at the fucking beach, just housing bowls of it and going playing in the ocean. It was just the fucking best. Then as an adult, you could just buy it whenever. Still amazing, but
And you can
not
eat
quite
three
the same
bowls, four bowls.
nostalgia.
Who gives a shit? Yeah. Um, most people I've heard say, I thought this is where you were going with it, say that it cuts up the roof of their mouth. And I'm
No,
like,
that's original peanut. That's original Captain Crunch.
oh, okay, yeah, because I don't, I'm like, what the fuck you talking about? It's,
The,
how
the
how are you
original
eating it? You're supposed to chew it with your teeth. Like, are you just chew it with the roof of your mouth? You psychopath! What is
I no,
this?
I will say the original Captain Crunch will because you bite it in half and then it's moving around your mouth and as it's like skirting through, dude, it's like an iceberg slicing through the side of the Titanic, dude.
Yeah,
It's fucking gnarly.
never had
But
that
peanut butter
problem.
crunch does not have the same issue.
Let me just get to my honorable mentions, which I'm sure again we could go on and on honorable mentions, but
Yeah.
I had to mention, of course, Lucky Charms. Again, liked it a lot more when I was a kid, not so
Yep.
much anymore, especially
They're on my list.
when they came out with a new marshmallow. It tastes exactly the same. It just looked different. As a kid, it
Yeah.
got you all fired up. Frosted Flakes, obviously.
Yep, that's on my
Who
list as well.
Apple Jacks. Shout out to Apple Jacks. Who
Big shout
doesn't?
out.
I mean, that they don't taste like apples, Josh, but you know
We
why we
just
like them?
do.
We just
We
fucking
just
do.
do.
And Fruit Loops. So there you go.
Yep.
And of course I had Cocoa Krispies, but that was our earlier mention. So
Yeah. Those are all the only two that I have on my list of honorable mentions that you didn't mention. One is Life cereal. I love Life cereal. It's fantastic. Cinnamon Life, underrated. And
huh.
then I think maybe the sneakiest cereal on the planet for how fucking good it is Apple Cinnamon Cheerios. They are delicious.
That's right. I forgot
They
about
couldn't
those. Those are
they
damn
couldn't
good.
crack
Yeah.
my top 10, but they are absolutely one of my favorites. Apple cinnamon Cheerios. If you'd never tried them, try them, especially in fall. They're fucking delicious.
Right on. Well, there you have it. There are ours and your top
That's right.
5 best cereals, the Brash official world rankings.
Bam.
We are going to get on out of here. It is time to bounce. Yeah, that's it, dude.
That's it.
Sorry, got nothing
No,
else for you.
hey man, can I just say that you got the Michael Jordan flu game and then the Brandon Nevin COVID podcast, man. You did an amazing job, dude. I'm fucking proud of you.
I just have to make sure I get infected with some sort of virus before every single podcast moving forward. That's the trick.
All right, buddy. Well, have a good night. I will catch up with you later.
All right, later, my friend.
Peace.
Peace.